You just start here, just rotating the jaw. Good. Just a few each side and then. Just do 3, 4, and then just change sides each time. Oh, I missed something. There we go. Good. And then just start alternating between the hands, so passing it each time through the left and the right. Good. So in this case, just work on really, you're going to kind of pulse through the hand this way. So in this case, don't go too far in these kind of directions. Really allow the jaw to pulse through and then pass it. You're going to kind of pulse at this point through the hand and then pass it through the grip. Yeah. So you really do this with control without tension, but allow the core of the body to stay in the ground and then pulse through hands this way. Yeah, that's it. Good. Good. Nice. Okay, and then from this position with the elbow down, you're going to roll the jaw out. So extending through the arm here and then rolling it back. As you pull the jaw back, keep the elbow tight to the body and then roll it out. And the same feeling in the grip, you're going to kind of pulse into the grip at this point and then draw it back. That's it. Good. We'll just do 3 or 4 on one side and then change to the left side. That's it. Good. And really allow, in this case, the hand's going to kind of follow the center line of the body. So in this one, don't come out of the body this way, but allow the hand, the fist here, to come along the center line and then draw it back really tight to the body and then pressing forward. Really just off the center line here, but not too far out this way. Just down the center line of the body and rolling back. So, yeah, good. Just keep changing side. Good. Nice. Okay. And then the same thing, just alternate the hands. So you're going to roll out, and then at this point, start to bring the elbow back and bring it to the other hand. This way. You're kind of alternating the arm now with the pulse. And again, keep the center line through the rotation here. This side. Good. That's so try and find in this one the transition in the movement. So in this case, it's not kind of coming here and then changing the hand and then pushing it out, and it's not finding the transition here when it's out and then pulling it back. It's actually in the movement here. So it's in the rolling back. This fist comes in, or this hand comes in. So as the Joe's being drawn back by the hip, the other hip is sending this hand in. So really connect now the hip work to the hand work. And in the transition, find the movement. In the movement, find the transition. This way. So go a little bit slower and feel that the Joe doesn't really stop through the movement. The hips just keep alternating, and the hands are now just following the hip work. You can really blend the transition together. Right. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it, Roll. Good, good. Good. Nice. That's it. Very good. Very good. Good. And then back to one hand, just now turning in figure of 8. And in this case, just really focus again on the center line of the body and the hands really following the hip work. So now much bigger movements with the hip and allowing the hands to really follow the center. And just do a few turns on one side and then just change to the other side. Really clear hip work. And I'm doing figure 8s with the whole body, the hips and the arm. And that transfers into the Joe now, this way. Good. Yeah. Great. Super. Yeah. Yeah, great. Great. In this case, when it's one-handed, also this part of the movement's quite tricky. If the shoulder's tight and the arm's tense, then it starts to kind of pull the body out this way. And with a kind of very rigid movement. But in this case, really feel that from the shoulder down, the elbow, the forearm, the wrist is actually very loose. So it's the hands doing this kind of movement. So it's very flexible. Yeah, and it's not rigidly moving the jaw across. So see if you can really soften the joint, especially from the shoulder down, and especially in this rotation. So as you draw the jaw back across the body, keep the joints very free. Good. That's yeah, good. Very nice. Good. Good. And then move into alternating the hands. So as you come to the side, just roll back to the other side. This way. Again, keeping the hip flexible. Keep the knees open. You do this. Just roll through it. Changing each side. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. Okay. And once you've really got the coordination for this, try and move the feeling down in the body so that you can really lower into the ground. Yeah, and in this movement, the more I do it, if I'm really tense in the arms, it starts to draw the movement all up into the arm work. Especially if the arms are rigid, this starts to create these kind of movements, but really allow the body to sink down. Once you've got the kind of feeling of the transition into the hands, allow the handwork just to follow the body and sink the whole feeling down into the ground. Again, go slower and really feel that you can sink the body down and don't allow it to get drawn out through the movement. So allow the jaw to follow the body. Good. Okay, good. Good. So we'll do one more. In this case, this is really rotating through the wrist fully. So in this case, it's going from the armpit, rolling it through, and then the back side of the jaw rotates through this way and end up in this position in the hand. So it's a really full rotation all the way through the wrist this way. So from the armpit, this position, all the way through, so that the jaw finishes kind of resting on the forearm and the hand in this position. So you roll it out this way. And in this, to do this, I need the joint to be very flexible. Yeah, this is almost impossible to do by being rigid. I'll just cause tension in the shoulder and in the elbow. So in this case, start from this position. So you're in the jaw's kind of tucked into the armpit, and then release it again through the hip work here, and then roll it all back. So it's not a really big movement with the arm, but what it is a very flexible through the joints. Keep all the joints open, especially the wrist. Just roll it this way, okay? Give it a try. You got it. Shit, what am I doing? I show really slow. So you go here, you release the jaw here, and then I continue the movement, and then this continues all the way over, back. And then I release it, the back, this way.
At the moment, my arm and wrist doesn't seem to do that.
And this is also the point, because if at this point my arm's very rigid, I'll feel like I can't go any further. So what I need to do is then release. I need to kind of release the joint. And it goes and I release through it that way. It's actually very. Oh, let's see. Oh. That's it, Bernie. Nearly. Ah, nearly. Yeah. That's it. And just do this both sides. So take this very slow. So you took it to the armpit, you release it down, and then you roll it over. Release it down, roll it over. So what this exercise also shows is how much mobility I've got in the joint, even without really moving the arm. So all the way through the joint, if I can free the joint up, I've got a lot of mobility. Here. It's actually quite a small movement with the arm. The arm's not really doing anything, especially the shoulder is kind of down. This all just rolls through. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Good, keep going. Good. Good. Okay, got it. Okay, good. We'll do the last one, just rotating from the back. So in this case, the jaw's out here, this way. And again, really for the shoulders, and in this case, just transition each time, but not one-sided. Just try and pass it, find the spine, and then roll back this way. Spine, roll back. Find the spine, roll back. Good.
Oh.
That's it. Okay, and this one's much more about the shoulders. Again, if the shoulders are locked in this case, this way, this will feel kind of almost impossible. The arms are kind of really locked up against the back. But in this case, you really feel that the shoulders are free. As you roll through, the shoulder should still feel that there's space in the joint. So just look to loosen it up. In this case, just go from this position, roll it back, just roll it back. So the jaw's basically staying all the way behind the back. Don't bring it to the front again. Just roll it here this way. So it stays in this position, and then just turn again the hips. Turn again the hips this way. Best in this case, keep the shoulder blades relaxed. Just pass the jaw behind the back. Good. That's it. Yeah. Good. Okay, and then a few minutes, just really mix these up now. So you've got this kind of rotation here. You've got a rotation where you're really rolling through the wrist this way. And then you've got this transition where you can go to the back this way. But now really involve the feet in the movement. So follow the movement of the body and just transition through however you like. Start slowly so that you can really feel that the hips follow the hands. And just find the transitions through the movement. Okay, and in this case, really try to avoid working on the periphery. So with the jaw really on the outside of the body. Again, this kind of way. So again, the body starts to become kind of distorted through the movement of the jaw because everything's kind of being involved in the arms. Really try and lower the movement and really focus that the hand, this organization, ground, hip to hand, and then into the jaw. So really try and focus on this and go to the speed where I can really maintain that. And if I'm going too fast and the jaw starts to basically distort the structure, then I need to really slow down a little bit. So in this case, allow the body work to move the jaw. You focus on the center of the body, the hip, and allow the hand and the jaw just to follow. Keep that organization through. That's it. That's better rolling. Good, good. Good. Very small. Yeah, there we go. Super, great. And then really to work the lower body and open the joints in the lower body. In this exercise before, you're going to have the jaw down this way. You're going to roll into the ground this way. And then you're going to basically transition. So allow the body to really move. Open the, really do this in the lower body. So. Way to the ground. You can do this two ways to start with. Do this by rolling back with the body. And then coming back up. And you can also do this with a rotation. Out to the back. So just play with this and really focusing on opening the lower body, especially the knees, all the way down. There we go. Good. That's it. Okay, great. Very good. Okay, good. And in this case, we'll do a few more. Really feel that this part's important, this way. Now the release is also important. So really now bring the release into the movement. So see this now as a continuation of one thing. So you begin release from the ground and then transition to another position. And then release from the ground, transition to another position. Release, transition. So really play with it. You don't necessarily need to bring the jaw the whole way back up as well. The whole point of this exercise is really to open the joints of the hips and the knees and keep them relaxed. So just work from the feeling of releasing, connecting into the ground and then releasing back up. In this case, try and avoid kind of this movement's full and then I just kind of come back up. Really feel this movement. Connect. So now just transition between the grips. Really focusing on the ground. Transition. Move this way. That's it. Yeah, okay, good. Good. Right. Nice. Okay, great. So we'll just go back into some basic ski movements. So again, what we did yesterday, my here, arcing from the back and pressing in. And just very slow, thrusting in and coming back to the ground. Thrusting in, rolling back. Thrusting in, rolling back. Yeah, just nice basic choku ski. And again, just do 3 or 4 and then change sides. So do the left and the right side. Really also watch the front arm. So most of you got the kind of the back arm, this kind of this arc through the body this way. Also the front arm does an arc as well. If this front arm's very rigid, the jaw moves like this in a kind of very straight vector. But what you want to do is arc through the system this way. So the front arm is also flexible in its movement. So find this position and then from here, this front arm is flexible. So you've got a double arc through both arms this way. And it's not that the grip's rigid and I do that. So it's not that kind of movement, but it's flexible. So the jaw feeds through the front arm. This way. And the joint's very relaxed until the point of the focus. This way. And then the grip comes in. So just see if you can focus on the front arm. The front arm. Yeah. Just try this, just really an exercise. Take the feet out of it. So take the footwork out of it and just roll the jaw through the arms. So don't worry about a ski at this moment, but what you're doing is just working the arcs through the arms. This way. And the jaw should feel very, it's in control and it's, I've got the grip, but also able to move through this way. And all the time keeping the body down, hips and knees are free. Just start to arc through the joint and just do a few on each side. Just really play the whole joint system, especially the arms, should be very free as the jaw's in movement. And in this case, try and avoid working in this position. So being in the front here. But the body's also, the body in this case is very side on this way. So really work this way. And then this gives the jaw the freedom to move in this way. But if my body's in the way here, I'm basically blocking the jaw this way. And then I end up with these kind of movements. This kind of movement. But I need the jaw to be free with the body here. So allow the hips to be more open this way. And this really gives the arms freedom to work this way. This way. That's it. Good. That's it. Good. Yeah. And you're always, in this case, really looking for this middle place between not being rigid and fixed, where the structure feels like it's just heavy and rigid, and not too loose where it feels like there's no structure at all behind it. It feels like jelly. So try and find this middle place where you've got flexibility through the joint, but you're still using the structure to support it. But it's not unsupported without a structure and just kind of loose. And it's not rigid where the structure's locked and the jaw's in this position. So just work, see if you can really find this middle spot where it's really flexibility and freedom. This, that way. Yeah, okay, good. Good. Very good. Good. Okay, good. So we'll do a kind of combination. It's really like the Fitsuburi. You thrust in, roll back, and then make the transition, and then bring the body through. We're going to break it down like this. So kind of separating this part, come here, this way, and then find the handwork here. Just find the handwork and then send the hip in and find the strike. Do a ski into the jaw down position here, release the hand, find the back of the jaw, and then curl the hip in to the front. And so it's kind of broken down a bit more than usual. This, and then strike. Give it a try. It's kind of number 5. Jorangaishi.
Michael, is the jaw parallel above your head?
Ooh.
Or is
In this position, you see?
yeah, and in the turning?
The body's slightly arched in this way. It's not
No,
straight up. You see that?
yeah, and I mean the position after the turning.
This position. This position, yeah, just kind of angled slightly. Because this hand's lower than this hand. So this hand's higher. Yeah. So I'm in this kind of position.
Hey.
This. No, that one.
Thank you.
Good. Keep going. Good. Okay, and in this case, what this rotation allows you to do, because you're doing it on the spot, it allows me to really maintain the center of the movement this way. So just be careful in this case. I come here and then I get kind of drawn out, and the elbows are then in this kind of position. And then the strike is actually off center, and then I'm doing it with the arms this way. So again, use the pause here this way. Yeah, and really try and maintain the center of the movement here. So the rotation happens here above the head and right in the center of the body. And then the center's connected to the jaw here. I can press the center through it here. But if I lose that connection in the rotation, then the center's got no chance to initiate the movement. So in this case, break the movement down here, maintain the center connection to the jaw, and then press through with the strike this way. Yeah, give it a try. Okay, good. Good. That's it, John. Good. That's it. Okay, great. Good, good, good. Okay. Nice. And again, we'll keep to this form. Really nice for the connection. So here, allow now the hip to create the movement through the rotation. So again, because you've already established this position, now I can just release from the hip and allow this hand, now this is very loose, to just flow down the weapon this way. So just focus on the rotation and the advancing through the body. So here, this hand releasing and the hip coming through. So don't worry about the strike at the moment. Don't worry about how to find the hand. Just have the feeling of it flowing down the weapon this way. And keep the grip in the left hand. So here, rotate, find this position, and then really feel that you can initiate the movement from the hip, and then flow the hand down the weapon this way. Yeah, just focus on that part. So we'll keep it static for the moment. Just allow the right arm to flow down the weapon as you step forward. In this case, feel that you kind of place the weapon in front of you, not that you throw it out. So it's not the kind of throwing out with the Joe this way. Feel as if you kind of place it down into something in front of you. So take it really slow, find this rotation, and then just have the feeling from the hip that you place the weapon down into the ground. And then return here. So through this way, find the rotation, and then initiate from the hip, and just have the feeling of placing it down into the ground. So no sense of power, no sense of throwing the weapon out, but just a sense of placing it down into the ground. In the same way when we do this Suburi exercise here, just placing it, try and find the same kind of feeling here. Find the rotation, initiate from the hip, and then just place the weapon into the ground. But with no sense of throwing the Joe away from you. Good. Good. Oh, okay, good. Nice. Good. Now start to bring the transition together with the hip work. Again, don't really worry about going to the strike, but just now rolling back and rolling through the strike. So you can still keep a pause, but now find this position with the hands. So the hands are coming together and then release through the movement this way. So before coming to this position and then here, and now you're going to find this position and then find the transition with the hands through the movement this way. Really be careful that the rotation doesn't come off the center of the body. Just allow the rotation to stay within the spine, and then find the stretch here, coming down. Give it a try. So kind of in 3 moves as you do it. Finding the handwork transition during the step. Good. And get the feeling when you do this that you're not drawing back with a sense of pulling back, but you're drawing back with the hips with a sense of pressing forward with the hip. So that this is a preparation for you to be able to just press forward. But it's not in a sense a kind of withdrawal back with the hips. And then in this sense that what I've got to do is press the weight into the front foot and then find the movement here. And this creates this kind of rocking, instability in the hips. I have a sense of this, have a sense that the backwards movement, this preparation is really just a preparation for the step forward. I get a feeling that you pull back just to move forward this way. I get a sense that the hip work and my feeling extends forward, and then I just press through into it this way. Yeah, give it a try. So don't kind of withdraw with this backwards movement. Keep the feeling of forward and advancing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay, and then see if you can make the movement now really flexible. So you press in, roll back, and then press forward. So now the movement really flows into the neck. So what you're going to do is press forward, roll back, and then roll the hip in. So in terms of the hip work, what you're doing is this, and then rolling back, and then rolling forward straight into it. So it's a flexible way of doing the saburi. It's not really in full motion or full. It's not a full speed form. We do that slightly differently, but in this case, still keep the roll back, but roll the hip forward at the same time. So this that I said just earlier, rolling back to roll forward. So really get the sense the hip press back, and then press forward this way. So just try and make this flexible now. This, and then that. So take all the focus into the hips in this case. Just trust that you're connected through the jaw, and allow the hips to do the work through this one. So,
Michael, when you're doing this flexibly, do you put power in it, or is it just?
Initially do without. So don't think about adding power at all in this case. Just think about the quality of the movement and allowing the weight. What I'm really thinking in this case is trying to maintain the weight in the ground. So not so much power out, as much weight down this way through the joint. So keep it kind of low power. And also low speed. You don't need to do this fast at all. So you can do this very slow. So it's not really about speed or power. Just roll through. Good. Nice. Good. Nice. Yeah, great. Okay, good. Okay, now really watch for this crunching, because you start to do this in movement. The tendency is for the arms to take over. And the arms really want to start to take over. Because the arms are faster than the feet and the legs, they start to kind of take over the movement. So, and what this leads to is this sense of crunching through the arms. Because the arms are trying to catch up, but the body's lagging behind. So really get a sense, slow it down a little bit, especially in the arm work. Allow the arms to soften like we did at the start. This kind of feeling that the arms follow the hips. This is really true in this case. Have the feeling the arms just follow the hip work. So try and really kind of unite the rhythm of the footwork, the ground, with the handwork. And you're basically allowing the hands to follow this way, but not the hands kind of follow, the hands leading the movement or taking over the movement. So just take it slow and try and bring the whole movement together. Nice. Very nice. Good. Okay, good. So we'll go to a kind of full motion form of this. This is basically doing it in 2 moves now. So you're going to thrust in here and then just make the transition into the step and make the transition in the hands, all in the same movement now. So this all comes together. So before it was like this, and then transition in. And now you just flow into the transition and flow into the strike with the body. So strike and advance. Strike and advance. Really maintaining the center line of the body, allowing the jaw again to follow the hips as you make the movement. Okay, give it a try. This is basically a ski hayagashi, so moving 2 moves. Okay, so it's a bit of a cheat way to do this. And I want you to try and avoid it this way. There's a cheat way of I could just come to here and find the grip this way. So this is basically doing a cheat where I just shift the hand a little bit and then I find a strike this way. But at speed, this is really almost impossible to do because it basically twists the whole body out. The weight of the jaw will twist the body out of the structure this way. And at speed, this is almost impossible to maintain weight through it. So what I want you to do is really use the center of the jaw and then slide the hand down. So it's actually the same handwork that you've done before, this way, and then allowing this hand to shift down. And don't just shift this way. What this will do, just lead into the front or twist the body out as you make the movement. So come to here, really use the center line and use the center of the jaw to make the movement. So press in. Press. Don't worry about speed again, just look for the movement. Look for the quality in the movement. Use the center of the jaw through the body. So now the feeling of retreating or moving back with the body, you don't do at all. So there's no sense of rolling the body back and then pressing forward in this case. You just press forward and then press forward with the body this way. So again, forget about the strike or lessen the concentration in the strike and just go to the feeling of the body pulsing forward. So from the ground, just shift the hips in as you come up. Yeah, and then from this movement, don't withdraw, find the movement here. Just press through the movement this way. So just advance forward through the movement this way. Yeah, and don't worry about the strike. Just go to this initial hip work. And the feeling's just pressing through with the hip. Okay, good. And the very last thing, just try this now as one motion. So what you've done is this, and then striking in, and then just see if you can basically blend this together. So now you're going to kind of pulse through the strike and straight into the strike. Pulse through the ski. So you pulse into it, and then you pulse through into the strike. So in this case, the body needs, the arms need to be quite loose through the system. So if I'm too rigid, this will cause this kind of movement. If I'm too loose, it will just flow around the body and have no real structure behind it. But just allow the movement to be flexible. And just try this now in one. So pulse through the strike, pulse through the ski, and go straight into the strike this way. Yeah. Give it a try. So just now it's one movement. Ski hayegashi. Okay, now it's super easy in this case to get drawn into the front, and then the form looks something like this again. So being pulled into the front this way. Again, really allow the back from the ground this way. So have the feeling you're going to press the movement from the back of the body as you come down. So really maintaining the connection to the ground and the back side of the body, and not allowing the movement to be pulled out into the front. Again, this is where the jaw starts to control the movement rather than the body, the jaw following the body this way. So just really try and access the back of the body and press through the ground this way. You can do this really slow. So it's not about speed, it's about coordination. So you can do this as slow as you like. But really try and find the back side of the body. A few more minutes. Better, Roland, good. Ah, okay. Okay, so we'll do just one exercise to finish. This is this rotation where you come above the head and then find the posture here. So it's actually the same kind of movement that you're doing with the strike, but it's a bit more expanded. So really focusing on the ground, the hands following the jaw. You can use any kind of direction you like. So you can kind of stay on the spot, focusing forward, or you can kind of start to move a bit more off at an angle, but really focus on, again, the back of the body and rotating through the center line of the jaw with the body. But just to finish this way. And in this case, really pulling back into a jokomai this way. So a really full extended hip movement as you do it. Okay, very last exercise. Mm. I really try and minimize the work in the hands so that it's not really the hands that do it, but it's the transference of the movement from the hips into the handwork this way. So I really try in this case, have the grip very light, just the last few, and really allow the power of the movement to be generated from the hip work from the ground this way. But the hands can be actually very loose, and it's not that the hands are doing the movement this way, but that the body creates the movement. Right. Yeah, just the very last few. So keep the grip super light. Yeah, that's it. Better. Good. Yeah. Good, good, good. Good. Okay, great. Very good. So super basic class. But really just using this motion, you can basically apply that to any of the Saburi, any of the Jo movements. They all work in the same way. But really just training this structure. Okay. Wow, wow. Okay. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。